This is our last video in our Thriving Through Conflict series, and it's a really good one because it's 10 tips that will really help you understand how to do conflict well. And I like tips, I like to know how to do stuff, and yeah, this video was super helpful for me. It was just really cool reminders, so I think you'll get a lot out of it.
All right, so we've got 10 steps to resolving conflict today. Finally, we're here. We've talked about all the things that can go wrong with conflict
Yep.
and what can get involved, but we're going to give you 10 steps, 10 tips to resolving conflict and managing it well. So, Assistant Ben would like to reveal number 1. Conflict is inevitable.
Hell yes it is.
Yeah, sorry, but you've just got to accept that one. So basically that's what this is about, is understanding that conflict cannot be avoided. It is how we manage conflict though that's important. So it's not the goal isn't don't have conflict, the goal is manage it well. So we just need to have some acceptance that we're going to have conflict in our lives. So step number 1, just accept it.
So I guess that makes it more imperative that you get good at conflict, because conflict's going to come whether you're good at it or not, right? So,
exactly. Yeah, that's very true. Good point.
Yeah.
Number 2. Have a plan.
There you go. I didn't even know what they were. Yeah.
So this works really well in the context of a relationship in particular. So this is about actually discussing what is your conflict going to look like, because you're going to have it, as we noticed. So what are some things you can agree on? So we're not going to call each other names. We're not going to yell, or like an agreed upon sort of timeout. What's acceptable? How long? How do you know when you need a timeout? So actually discussing these things prior can actually be really helpful to then in the moment you go, oh, that's our safe word, or oh, actually that person's not shutting me down, they just need timeout.
Yeah, well, I was watching a video clip with Will Smith talking about his relationship with Jada Pinkett, and they had, early on they're married, they were just kind of together for a little while, and he'd come from an abusive family, and she swore at him in front of some other people, and they talked it out, and he said, we're never going to swear at each other, we're never going to raise our voices. And I think they've been married 23 years, and like they've had their ups and downs,
but of course.
Apparently they've never sworn or yelled at each other. I'm like, man, you guys are putting me to shame.
And look, just by saying it at first doesn't mean you're going to get it right straight away.
Yeah.
But if you never talk about it on how you fight, then you're never going to get anywhere.
Yeah, totally.
So, number 3, please. Win-win. So, this is all about adopting that win-win approach.
Right.
So, keep that in mind, you know, whether it be a relationship or a workmate, you both want to win out of it. You're not trying to compete against each other, hopefully not. You don't want the other person to lose. So what is the best approach so that both people, as best as possible, can get what they need?
Which is that collaborative that you've talked about before.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not compromise, it's actually collaboration to get win-win.
Yeah, exactly. So just remember that approach when you are approaching conflict.
Sweet.
What's behind door number 4?
Well, Jess, we have...
attitude. It's all in the attitude, Ben. So,
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So this covers a couple of things. So for one, have a willing attitude. Be willing to engage in those hard discussions. If you're not willing to deal with conflict or hard things, there's no point. You're going to shut down from it. So be willing to engage.
Yeah.
But then in that engagement, in that conflict, have an attitude of respect, of kindness, of being just nice to one another. Like keep your attitude in check when you're in conflict. So that's what that one's all about.
Cool. When I think of that one, for me, I think of Brene Brown talking about courage, having the courage to actually have some of those hard conversations. That's my challenge.
Yeah,
so
we've
that's
kind of
the attitude I'm trying to.
Yeah, we've got to kind of come in with an open mind, and it is really difficult at times. But you know, keeping that attitude in check and just keeping that respect for the other person as well is really important. So
very cool.
Number 5.
Under door number 5, we have
back to basics. So what do I mean by that?
Please tell us more.
So a couple of things. One is that often in conflict, we try and just fix it and solve it straight away. We jump to the solutions.
Okay.
We need to step it back a bit and just get to the heart of the problem first, and step it back to just listening to each other. How often do we listen to have an answer or to prove someone wrong, and we're already thinking about what we're going to say, or jumping to how do I just solve this?
Yeah.
When really, like, one of the first things is just that we need to be heard.
Yeah.
So listening.
Yeah, it's really good, Jess.
Getting back to the basics, just listen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and listen well.
I need to do that more.
Basic but difficult.
Basic but difficult, yes.
Don't get too complicated. If things are getting difficult, like, come back to, are we listening to each other? Have we actually heard each other?
Yeah.
Simple as
that.
that.
So good, Jess. Easy to say, more challenging
I
to
know.
do, but good.
All right, number 6, can you reach? I statements.
Okay.
So this kind of flows on from the attitude and back to basics and listening well, is using I statements rather than you did this, you're that, you're that. No blame and shame, Ben, sorry. It doesn't work so well.
No,
so
it's not particularly productive, is it?
What I mean by that, it might be that you're feeling unappreciated because someone's not saying thank you. You never say thank you. I feel unappreciated when you don't say thank you.
Yeah.
Or
it gives that person room to move. Like,
it does.
The blame thing, like, it's just all taken.
Yeah.
Whereas using an I statement actually gives that person understanding, a place to actually collaborate or to meet you in the middle, rather than the I is all about just what a silly, stupid person they are. You know, and how.
Yeah, so this is about stating your own needs, your own emotions, and it takes some ownership of them too. So, hey Ben, when you raise your voice at me, I feel like I'm under attack and I feel like I can't talk to you.
We should talk about this later, Jess.
Ben doesn't yell at me, by the way. So it's I statements. All right, number 7. Desired outcome. So flowing on from that again is we come often with what our complaint is, what our emotions are, what the issue is, but we haven't yet thought through, well, what are we wanting from the situation? What's the outcome we want? What is the solution? What do we want to change? Now, it's not about having expectations that the other person have and can and will meet your needs 100%, but come with, hey, this is what I want ideally out of this situation. So, hey Ben, I feel under attack and like I can't talk to you when you yell at me. What I would like is for us to be able to talk about these things without yelling. Yeah,
I did this morning actually.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was pointing at 2 things I didn't like with Nell, rather than, and then I thought about it. We had a guy there fixing some stuff this morning as well. So like, then I went to do that and I thought about it more and actually went back to that and went, okay, what am I trying to say? What do I want to get out of this rather than just like point out where she's wrong or destructive. And it was like, we had a much more productive conversation the second time around.
Very good. It's kind of complain without blame, but complain, but bring what you want out of it. Don't just complain. So know what you want.
Yep.
But don't put on too many expectations. So,
cool.
Number 8. Perspective. Having some perspective. So we can get really into the nitty-gritty of things.
Yep.
But sometimes it pays to take a step back and remember, hey, we're on the same team here. So what are you actually, you're not, again, trying to, it's take off that judgment hat, take off the I must be right, you must be wrong hat, take off the, mistakes are not allowed hat, and put on some perspective. Have a look at it as, hey, what's the opportunity out of this problem? How can we get creative? And what's the long-term picture here? I want to keep the relationship. So perspective. Is this battle worth fighting? Is it worth getting like this about? How am I going to deal with this? Because ultimately, we're a team and I want us to both win.
Yeah, that's so good.
Win-win perspective.
Cool.
Number 9, mediation.
This is where we go to see a counsellor, aren't you? Jess? Come see you.
It really is. It's one form of mediation. Because the reality is sometimes we have situations or fights or arguments, things that we're too close to and we get too emotional about and we have not been able to deal with in a healthy way. And the 2 people talking about that is just a recipe for disaster. So sometimes it's best to agree we're not going to talk about this until we have a third person helping us talk about it and teaching us ways to resolve it and teaching ways of healthy conflict. So that might be a counsellor, a marriage counsellor. It might be involving a manager at work or just someone safe and trusted where you are then able to both bring your parts of the conflict without, getting really crazy emotional. And that's okay. It's actually like that happens. So don't feel like, you're alone if you have to seek help with that. It's actually really helpful and it can teach us ways of communicating and having healthy conflict. So it's okay. Sometimes that happens that you just actually, the two of you by yourselves, it's not okay to just talk about it because you don't talk. You fight. So
100%. I mean, we just had our 23rd wedding anniversary on the weekend. But for 22 years, we've been seeing a counsellor. I like to call him Uncle Neil. But we've seen him like 4 or 5 times for periods because sometimes we get stuck and he just has so many more tools than I do. And Nell's even a qualified counsellor. But, in the moment, she's not acting like a counsellor. So
we're human.
And we're much better at dealing with conflict than we ever have been, but sometimes you just get stuck and sometimes you need someone else outside of you to help you get unstuck. And same for me at work. I have certain people I go to when I'm in conflict and go, hey, either talk it through with them before I go back to the other person or sometimes involve them to help me and someone else to work through it.
That's a great way
to put it. We need other people as humans, I don't have all the skills to actually deal with conflict well by myself.
Neither do I, despite this. And we do, I think it's a great way to put it. Sometimes we do get stuck and we just need someone else to maybe bring some perspective. So, lucky last, number 10.
What have we got?
Self-soothed. All right, so this is an interesting one to have in there, I know.
Surfing?
It is. Could be all about emotional regulation, and it kind of underpins, I guess, everything. It's not just helpful for conflict, but stress management, the way you react to things, because often in conflict we do get overwhelmed with emotions, or we are reacting, or we're triggered by something. So, and that can be cause of conflict because we're overreacting or we don't know how to bring our emotions down, we don't know how to regulate, we don't know what our triggers are, we don't know the signs of getting angry and irritated and suddenly we are and we're in it and we can't get out of it. So it's really important to understand your triggers, understand the signs that you're becoming angry and learn ways to soothe yourself. So it could be grounding techniques. We've got a video on that. It could be things that you say to yourself. It could be time out. There's a lot of ways to sort of help self-soothe. Or it could be like when you're taking your time out from conflict, listening to your favourite song, going for a walk. But it's important to actually first understand what triggers you and what are the signs that you're getting angry so that you can bring it back before you get to that point. So, but this is so important because it's going to help you actually do a lot of this stuff. Because when we're flipped our lid, as you know, we can't have perspective, we can't use I statements, we can't have a good attitude. When we've flipped our lid and we're emotional, it's not going to work. So this is so important and underpins a lot of it. So sorry, but you got to learn about yourself, basically. But that is our 10 steps to conflict resolution and the finale of our conflict series.
So if you've got all the way through to here, thanks so much for being part of this series. We really hope it's helped. Feel free to comment below so we can learn how to do this better. We really just want to create content that's going to impact your life. And to be honest, as we go through this, it really helps us to reflect and to go, okay, where do we need to grow and improve as well. So thanks for being part of it.
Have a great Christmas.